Oh, hey, J Bear Hat. Welcome to the office again.
Ah! Oh, geez, sorry. I
Oh.
was having a mysterious and strange cerebral flashback of some sort, and when I came to, I was here, and also I was told to come here because I was solving a mystery involving the flashback that I mentioned before. And thankfully, just as soon as that flashback ended, I was told to come here because all of my answers would be answered if I just fucking beelined it straight to this office right now.
Yeah, absolutely. If you just kind of like a smash cut, you know.
Yeah. If I just sort of like introduced a puzzle into my narrative that is my life and then immediately solved that puzzle. That's what therapy is, and that's what I'm here today to talk about. Because I've got quite a puzzle for you.
Okay, no, yeah, lay it on me. What's troubling you?
So, like, broadcast signal intrusion. Everything about it should be something I love. It's confusing. The narrative is kind of whack. And it's just openly stealing ideas from internet horror, which I really like.
Yeah, that's always great.
Yeah. And it's one of the guys who directed The Signal.
Yeah, which I love. I'm a big Signal fan. I think it's Jacob Gentry did the middle segment, I think, which is, I mean, you know, Act 2 is always a little bit, it's kind of the weakest, but it's fine.
And he did also do, you know, that MTV slasher trilogy, My Super Sweet Psycho 16. But we're not here to talk about the man's earlier works. I'm trying to figure out how you take something so easy and just don't do anything with it. I guess it's not easy. I've long been saying I want people to just start ripping off internet horror more, because I feel like most mainstream horror has kind of run out of like ideas, which is that's the narrative, that's the history of cinema, I guess.
Oh, sure, yeah. Just stealing and stealing and stealing all the way down.
Yeah, but it's like, you know, you look at a lot of normal horror stuff now, and it's like, what if there was a ghost in the woods? Or what if, you know, Wendigos? Let's go back to the Wendigo thing and try to make that work again.
Oh, sure.
What if... what if your husband was Satan? You know, there's these things that they go back to a lot, and then meanwhile you get stuff like online, and people are just like, wouldn't it be creepy if like a mannequin sang?
So true.
Wouldn't it be like fucking crazy if you were watching the news and like somebody hijacked it and they had a Max Headroom mask on and they just said like, we have such sights to show you, and then you go on a message board that is run by the guy who used to make Chainsaw Suit, and you're like, did anyone else see that? And then the only reply you get is, your television was off.
What?
Turn your monitor on.
Who would win? Psychological horror drama film or Candle Cove?
Candle Cove.
Usually Candle Cove.
Like, great example even of Candle Cove is fucking the Candle Cove adaptation for Channel Zero was terrible. but it was like one of the most exciting like horror things I watched in a long time. The No End House was a really good season though. That one actually is like, outside of the penultimate episode, like every episode of that one is banger. Definitely worth checking out. But
I was very stoned when I watched Channel Zero. I don't remember very much of it.
It's got that one actor, the guy who's the bald dude from Fargo.
Oh yeah, that guy, and he's creepy.
There's the whole thing where like people are like turned into memories, and then like you kill them, and they're like made of pomegranate on the inside, and that's what like the memories inside the No End House feed on.
That just sounds like Kaiba.
Yeah. But the thing is that it's like there's so much like raw potential that people are just putting online for you for free to steal, and even the stuff that's like stupid and sucks,
Yeah.
like that Go Punch anime concept that people have been doing. Even that is like there's grains of it that you could make something really creepy into. There's shit in Dead Bart that you could be like, oh, I'll just steal this and make it into something spooky.
Well, I mean, how many times have you seen like some sort of Ben Drowned variant, right?
Yeah, the Pokemon the Pokemon creepypastas with oh god, what is it? Lost Silver, I think is the one.
Oh god.
Where it's like like it's basically just about like the Pokemon and like the trainer being trapped in like a weird purgatory. The point is that like this stuff is all amateur hour, obviously, but like because of that, they kind of don't understand a lot of the formal rules, and so they're more willing to like actually include stuff that ends up being like, oh, that's actually kind of a chilling image, or like that's actually kind of like a creepy concept.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's something that like you could easily pull from that to make a good film. And Broadcast Signal Intrusion is just taking the I Feel Fantastic or Shay St. John like videos.
To a lesser extent, like Tenetta.
Yeah. Like all of that stuff, and it's making a sandwich with that and the Max Headroom Broadcast Intrusions, which itself inspired, which they're also ripping off the Wyoming incident.
Oh.
That's the one where it was like the initial one involved like a video that was like, oh, this was just something that like broadcast on our like local station by someone, and it like caused all these headaches and like whatnot, and it was just like a bunch of like weird faces with the text with like text over it. I remember one of them was, I'm pretty sure one of them was just like, we have such sights to show you, was like the main one.
Right.
Apparently that like the ARG attached to that is like still ongoing.
That's fun.
Yeah. It sounds really stupid when I've heard about it, but it is continued to go on.
Hey, 2021. Keep it running, keep it going. If it's better than some stupid SCP shit,
yeah,
then I'm all for it.
So that to me is just like, oh, that's like so ready-made. Because like all the creepy images and ideas are there for you. And the film does kind of get one of the things about that stuff that is good, which is like the inexplainable of it, and so the implications of things, and like the attempt to make sense of them, and how ultimately you can't, and that's what makes them creepy. But it executes that in the stupidest fucking way possible.
Yeah.
Well, that's maybe mean to the directors or whatever. The way it executes it is that it does the thing that ARGs do of it gives you it recreates the format of reading a really annoying Google document off of like r/Petscop.
Oh,
where
God,
it's
yeah.
just somebody breaking down all of these clues and all of these things, and they're making like a lot of leaps of logic and a lot of like connection points and stuff. And I think that putting that in your film is fine and makes sense for the narrative drive of it. But the way they put that in there is because they can't actually like present you with something and then you have to figure out what it means and solve it. They present it like a video essay that you watch a year later to find out what was going on in a creepypasta thing, where it's just like, so here's what it said, and then it immediately is like, and so here's what it meant.
Oh my God. Okay, I mean, as you know, as the person in the kind of therapist chair over here, I'm more in a space of listening. But if I can share, I guess my own little experience with Broadcast Signal Intrusion, I turned that shit off because I realized very soon that nothing scary was going to happen in this movie, and it was going to plot along like an FX special that just explains everything to you as soon as it introduces it.
Did you get to the girl character?
I I think so.
Where she just like shows up and she's just like been following him, and it turns out she's just like a random person who's been following him, so they become like friends, and then she starts helping him solve the mysteries.
Yes, okay, I do remember this.
Morse code. Okay, so if you really like that character, I've got great news for you. She just leaves.
Oh, good.
like no arc with her character. He just like weirds her out too much, and then he goes to sleep one day, and when he wakes up, she's just left.
Okay.
And it's like somewhat implied that maybe there's something more going on, because he finds her hat at the home of the guy that he thinks is the guy who's been running it all and is the serial killer. But no, she just leaves.
Right.
And it's like, that would kind of work okay if she was in the film earlier, but she doesn't. She shows up like pretty late in the movie. So she has like a pretty like truncated thing in the film for a character who and it just ends up being like, oh, so this character is just here to like drive specific plot elements. This is the other character doing yet another, oh, I can't solve this thing. Oh, well, it's this. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here's someone for the main character to talk to, so it's not just like a guy.
Yeah.
That's like running around.
And that's so frustrating. And it's like, there's certain things that they include, like with her hat reappearing at that scene. There's stuff that implies that the guy he pinpoints is like the killer, like might not be. It might just be some like random dude who could be crazy, who might be involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then the thing that they show in the trailer where he hits the mannequin with its car and it freaks out, that's the last thing that happens in the film, but it's after he like kills the guy. So there's like, oh, maybe there's something more going on. There's elements of that where it's like, I really like it, but the way we get to those like few moments of an interesting thing is just characters telling the main character what to do next.
Yeah, well, I mean, do you think, and here's me positing a theory, and I might be wrong. Do you think people just play too many video games? Is that the problem? Like,
I think that could be the problem, because that's the problem with creepypasta internet culture too.
Yeah.
Because people play too many video games. So the scariest thing they can think of is like a lot of blood. Or a video game not working.
A lot of blood, but you always know what's happening and what you're doing next at the very like you don't have to worry. Don't worry too much about being confused or whatever. Just I mean just oh, a guy jumped out. Well, but he dropped a clue. Ooh.
Another great example of a creepypasta that like works because of the fact that nothing is explained, although it has its own like stupid storytelling flaws, is that Oblivion mod one.
Oh God,
where it's like super impossible to play, and like
I think it's Morrowind, but I do know what you're talking about.
Oh, you're right. No, it is Morrowind. Yeah, where it's like Jessica, whatever. Like that one's really good because it's like, there is an implication that there is something here that like you to be unlocked and learned. The thing I think is dumb about it is like when it kind of implies that like the assassin thing is stalking the guy in real life. That I think is a little too silly.
Yeah.
But like the idea of a piece of media becoming like a thing that someone gets obsessed with and starts to go like crazy about is kind of at the heart of this. But it it's more acceptable in an internet story because the communication is being done via online. You can have the passage of time, clues can be given and then solved later. But in a movie, having it just be clue, solution, makes the mystery parts of it not as compelling, because you know that the character is never going to be at a point of being like, well, what happened?
Yeah. Well, and my thing is like with so much creepypasta type stuff, the method is the message. Like,
yeah,
the fact that you're looking at, I don't know, a game screenshot, or the fact that you're looking at like a hacked signal or something that is on the internet. You know, like that is such a crucial part of like the mystery and the setup of so many things that work, right? Like Ted the Cave Diver, for example, works perfectly because dudes like that were writing blogs like that all the time.
Yes.
And that just happened to be one that was like, it was following in the format, but it was also something completely different and completely special. And so much, especially early internet stuff, that kind of follows in those lines, like works because it's, you know, through your computer screen, and it isn't like a sci-fi special from 20 years ago, or it's not something that feels like that, you know, like it's
I think that's exactly it. Is that it's like it's the format of it being an internet post, or like because like the copy pasta thing, like, you know, like this is a 4chan post that like has been spread around, or this is like from a forum, or this is like a video that somebody uploaded. Ben Drowned, where there was like forum posts plus videos attached to it, plus like other like metatextual things like that. Those are all things that work, that would not work if you just one-to-one translated them to film. And the problem with this is that it feels like they're just one-to-one translating those plot beats to a film.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to an extremely formulaic film. You know, let's be blunt here. Let's be fucking rude as fuck here. But it's not good.
It's I like trying to think of like what would make this more interesting. You know what I watched recently that I think would have made this more interesting is if it did this a bit more. Joel Schumacher's 8mm.
Ooh, yeah. How's that?
The Nick Cage movie about snuff films. Very campy, very dated. 2 hours long, too long. But it's a noir film. Like it's a neo-noir thriller. And so like that format works for the kind of creepiness of investigating like is this snuff film real? Is there a snuff ring? You know, like it works for what it's doing. This is like doesn't have the, if this was done as like a noir film, like he's given this as an assignment or something, or like the way he's investigating it like reasonably takes him towards things, and maybe he has a few dead ends, and then it turns out those dead ends weren't dead ends, they had clues in them as well, I think it would really work. But again, it's just constant, it's video game thing. He goes from one waypoint to the next, and the waypoint tells him where to go next.
How many like movies are gonna start having like towers? It's like, oh bro, climb the tower. You'll be able to see.
Movies are going to start having tutorial levels where you can skip the first 20 minutes of the film where they explain to you what the movie is.
Ew. Well, yeah, they're testing it out with like the Black Mirror like gamification shit. Just like, do you want to skip the exposition? Just click here.
Yeah. Have you watched this before? Do you know what the setup is? Okay, yeah, you can just skip here. God.
Just skip ahead. Just skip ahead. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's my big problem with the movie, because like the trailer got me. I'll admit it, the trailer pulled me in. I was like, cool, you're ripping off two things that are like iconically creepy.
Yeah.
All right, let me see what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, this? Okay.
Oh, you're doing this. Oh, you wanted to make one of these with this.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
Yeah, very
guy missing wife guy movie. Okay.
All right, let's go. You're not even gonna make it gay? Oh, well, all right.
It's in the 90s.
It's okay.
Couldn't do it now. Couldn't have it set now.
Yeah, I guess people aren't. Looking at analog. People are no more TV, right? Everyone's got those smart TVs out in the Ozarks. I see you, fucking classist, Jacob Gentry. Yeah, I don't know. It's frustrating. It's always really, really frustrating when a horror movie doesn't really want to be anything. It almost like it like, I don't know. It's just somebody who saw an image once and they were like, oh, let me think about this image. Well, I do see that it was inspired partially by Clute, the Parallax View, and All the President's Men, which is...
That was one of them. That was one of the things I remember being really annoyed by.
Yeah, which, like, fuck you. Go fuck yourself. What do you think you're making?
Because it's like, I read that, and it's like, I can see why that's what you're doing, but, like, you're not really doing that. Like, you're not doing that. Like, if you want to make a movie about a guy descending into, like, a vast conspiracy that, like, is above his head, just do that. Just make that movie. It doesn't have to be a horror. It doesn't have to be a creepypasta horror film. There was, like, some other, like, random creepypasta he had cited that was, like, definitely had nothing to do with this movie, and it was just like a modern creepypasta, which made me go like, do you even know what you're ripping off? Like, are you just
are you even from here, bitch?
Oh yeah, like the big one is that he says like it's inspired in large part by a 1987 event known as the Max Headroom incident. And it's just like talking about the Max Headroom videos. But it's also, like, extremely clearly obvious that it's like, no, you're ripping off the Wyoming incident. And I know you are because you call it the Max Headroom incident. But it's not called that. Because
the Max Headroom incident, people have mined it way too much for especially considering what it is. It's just like a guy with a mask who's getting his ass slapped by a fly swatter, which I don't know, I guess that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm rewatching it right now, and I guess like the other reason about why that's like why I'm like, no, it isn't, is because it's like it's not scary. Like it would probably like be really alarming if you saw it like in like it live, like if you were watching CBS when it happened.
Yeah.
But like it's not scary. It's clearly just a dude fucking around.
Well, a guy, you know, possibly having an episode, or possibly even not having it, possibly being just a goofball.
Yeah, just being drunk.
Calling everybody computer nerds, which, like, not wrong.
Yeah, no, he did it during an episode of the Doctor Who, so... I will say I did like the fake sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
I that is actually one thing I will say. I really wish this did more fake media within itself, because the fake sitcom was really good, and the idea of like some of the fake websites were really good, but it didn't do nearly enough stuff like that.
Damn, I think I might have missed that, but that sounds, I don't know. I always keep an eye out for stuff like that when they have to kind of construct a world with like its own shows and brands and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. It's because the in universe the doll is called the Sally Sparks incident because Sally Sparks was an 80s sitcom show about like an android wife, and so he watches like an episode of it like later in the movie.
Oh, I see. That's really fun. I'll have to keep an eye out for that part.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just tired of being disappointed by horror films. And
Me too. Me fucking too. Fuck this shit. Start making good horror.
For this. I was so excited for the Antlers. Antlers. The Antlers, I'm sure, are still doing fine.
I don't know about them either. Maybe the Antlers, the band, should start making a horror movie.
You know what? Hospice 2. Make it happen. She's back and she's pissed off.
She's back from the dead.
I think that joke's fine to make. I don't think that album is about a real person who died, so I think it's okay for us to make that joke.
I don't think it was. Even if it is, fuck you.
She's back. Even if it is, she's back and she's pissed off.
She's back and she's pissed off. This is real life. I'm serious.
It's like the cover. It's like the cover, but instead of the one hand grabbing the other, the hand with the hospital band on it is grasping it angrily, and it's like a zombie hand.
Oh my god.
and the other hand is like trying to flinch and get away.
I'm gonna make that.
Yeah. Make that, and that will be the preview image for this episode. Just nothing to do with the actual movie.
Just absolutely just confuse the shit out of people once again. As we love to do.
This guy in the movie, the main character guy, is the kid from Glee.
Okay, I was Harry Shum Jr., yeah.
Yeah, the whole time I was watching it, I was like, what have I seen this? Why do I recognize this guy's face?
Yes.
And I couldn't place it. So I was finally like, I'm just going to look this up right now. It's Glee. He was on TV all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think he had a breakout in Step Up to the Streets or something. And then he was in, I don't know, he was in a bunch of shit.
He was in a bunch of garbage, it looks like.
He was in Crazy Rich Asians.
But I didn't see that or pay much attention to it, so.
Yeah, I didn't see it. He was he was in the Eric Andre show. That's right. That's what I know him from.
Wait, who was he in the Eric Andre show?
Himself. I think he got interviewed.
Oh, but that would make sense.
But first season Eric Andre.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Huh. Well, if that ain't just a coinky dink.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's kind of sexy in some shots in this movie.
He is kind of sexy, actually. Yeah. Hey, Harry Shum Jr., hit us up now.
Hey, Harry Shum Jr., is there a Harry Shum Senior?
Excuse me.
This is like one of those films where it's like afterwards I was like, you know what, maybe I actually do like this film. Maybe it's pretty good. And like I thought about it, and just the more I kept thinking about it, the more I was just like, oh, there's so many bad decisions in it. And then there's so many like good decisions in it, but they're just like buried under like, it feels like fear.com.
Okay.
Like it has that same sort of like,
see, that's a compliment though.
Like like 2000s like weird techno thrillers when they were kind of getting used to the idea of technology, but they just like didn't have any way to like make a good movie out of it. So like the pacing was just like really abysmal. That's what this reminded me of.
That was a fun era.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah, oh my god, there's so many movies. Do you remember The Forgotten?
I do. I don't remember much about it. Is that the one where the kid runs through the glass window and dies?
Maybe that probably happens in The Forgotten. From what I remember about The Forgotten, that sounds more or less like broadcast signal inclusion or intrusion or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, broadcast interrupted.
We bring you a short message. It sucks.
Yeah.
Don't.
I'm intruding on this therapy session. Run! Don't walk away from your theater. Actually, I don't even think this movie got a theater release or got like a really limited one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember hearing if it's... Let's see if it's playing. Nope. Not near me. Very sad. Oh well. More of a reason not to watch it. So don't go to your theater. Don't ask them to watch
streaming. Yeah.
Don't ask them to watch Broadcast Signal Intrusion. They won't know what you're talking about anyway. But nonetheless, don't do it. And I think that's an important message. I think that's an important lesson to come away with from today. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful to you for sharing.
Yeah, no, thanks. I'm glad to be. Sorry, when I was looking up that Glassdoor thing, it just led to the scene in Final Destination 2, and the kid gets crushed under the plane of glass.
Oh yeah, that's good.
And watching it on a crappy YouTube video, I never noticed that it's like, you know, obviously they swap it out for like a mannequin, but like the way it's like posed so that it'll collapse correctly under the glass, It's just like really funny because it's like hips are like thrust out, and its arms are like way too long. Like his arms are like way longer than the actual actors. They're like down to his knees.
Oh man, I kind of remember that. I can kind of envision it in my head.
Oh well, I'm sure the next one we talk about will be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. The next film we talk about will be totally just fine and have definitely not the same problems, but in a different direction.
At some point,
someone's gonna make a good horror.
Someone's gonna make a good film, and we could be like, "Oh, good, I enjoy movies again."
Finally, movies, cinema. Well,
you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go do that right now.
Hey,
I'm gonna take my copay back. And I'm just gonna head on over to the local Cineplex, and I think I might check out a little film.
There's a bit of a part.
I'll be right back.
All right. There's a part of that I'm not. Okay. Well, I guess I can't. I can't stop you. God, I gotta invest in security.